Kettering Health Hamilton is proud to be the broadcast sponsor of the Celebrating Self series. Kettering Health Hamilton, be your best.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Fitness Center for Creative Arts, the home of pickleball here in Hamilton. Woo, woo. Yeah. My name is Ian Mackenzie Thurley. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon for this fantastic Celebrating Self, which is also the opening of our 2024-2025 season. And yeah, you can applaud for that. Yes, we're excited. And with that, I would like to thank our good friends and Hamilton Community Foundation, the City of Hamilton, Arts Wave in Cincinnati, and the Ohio Arts Council for the sustained support of the Fitness Center and the arts in Hamilton. And please do put your hands together for that. We really do appreciate it. To our event sponsor today, who is anonymous, but we also would like to say thank you very much for your generosity, and to all our sponsors and donors for this season. For our series sponsor, Ms. Kathy Klink, who is again our sponsor for the Celebrating Self season for 24-25. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the support and the people that she brings along each and every time she comes to the Fitness Center. It is really, really greatly appreciated. We have our friends here from TV Hamilton doing a live stream, and that is thanks to our friends over there at Fort Hamilton, or at Kettering Health Hamilton. Did I get that correct? There we go. Steve's smiling. Thank you very much. We even have a shot coming from the roof, so we are going full Wimbledon today. It's all happening. Jeff's up there. And last but certainly not least, to our friends at Two Women in a Kitchen for an incredible barbecue lunch. Not only are they looking after us today, they have one of their biggest events of the year, the big Hamilton Steak Fry, the Chamber Steak Fry with Hamilton and Middletown Chambers all coming together, and they're doing that today. So we are so well looked after on one of their busiest days of the year. We really do appreciate it. But there's still some go up for a little bit of seconds. There's some ribs left there, and some fantastic cookies and dessert. We'd love you to have to do that. And once you've done all that, you can work it off here in our brand new pickleball court. Look at that. Huge round of applause to Keith over here, in early this morning. I think this needs to stay. It looks absolutely fantastic. So a big shout out to the Fitness Center team who have put all of this together out here today. Matt and the team, thank you so very much. Trey and the tech team, just incredible. And is Julia Bailey out here? Is Julia out here? Is she back behind the desk? We put her back behind the desk. She needs to come out here. This was all, I'm going to give all the credit to Julia Bailey as we're sitting around saying, hey, we need things for celebrating self. She goes, well, pickleball's cool. Everybody loves pickleball. So from that conversation to here we are. And pickleball is cool. I'd like to say it's the fad and the craze, but I think we're well beyond fad and craze. This is really entrenched throughout the country and throughout the world. And for us here at the Fitness Center, we always like to bring something that's maybe right in front of you. You're hearing about things, you're knowing about things, you're seeing stuff, but you're not quite sure what it is. And for us, it's great when we're upstairs, it gets a little colder when we get into October and November, and when you can have some slides and some projections and told about things, but it's more fun if you can actually see what's going on. So the idea for us was to come out here today on a pickleball court and not only talk about pickleball, play some pickleball. And our resident expert here in Butler County, and if you've not been over to the Pickle Lodge over there in Westchester, you should. It is amazing. It is absolutely enormous. There are so many courts, and there are places to eat and drink, and I think they've got a great pizza store over there. And it's a great place to go and hang out, get fit, and meet some friends, which is what it is all about, and that's what we love here at the Fitness Center, is bringing people together. So without any further ado, can I please introduce you to the big bad boss man from the Pickle Lodge and pickleballer extraordinaire, Mr. Mitch Dunn and his team from the Pickle Lodge. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm not sure what it means that Ian is making me be the first speaker of the series. I have a feeling it's either that he anticipates I'm going to be the best or the worst. So it's one of the two, I'm pretty sure. I got a question for everybody. We're going to start with some audience engagement. Does anybody know what the commonality is between pickleball players and CrossFit athletes? Anybody have a guess about what's common about those two groups of people? My team, any guesses?
Pickleball's better.
Pickleball is, in fact, better. No. The only thing that CrossFit athletes like to talk about is CrossFit. The only thing that pickleball players like to talk about is pickleball. That's why I jumped at the chance to come and join you all today, because pretty much all I do is pickleball. All I talk about is pickleball. It's actually maybe a little bit obnoxious at this point. I'm really hoping that pickleball is not a fad, because if so, Joe and I are in really big trouble. So let's not let pickleball be a fad. I will say this is the first presentation I've ever given where it's not only okay for me to sweat, but it's actually probably kind of encouraged. So thank you for that. I know what you all are thinking right now. How many Pickle Lodge logos is Mitch wearing? And the answer is 3. Typically the answer is as many as 5. Which, talk about obnoxious, I become the brand whenever I get to talk about the Pickle Lodge. That's how much I believe in it. But we're going to talk very little about the Pickle Lodge today. In fact, we're going to talk way more about pickleball itself. We're going to tell the story of pickleball in sort of 3 chapters. The first chapter is called Paradise. That's right, we are going to compare pickleball to paradise. I'm going to go there. The second chapter is called Pivoting, and I will talk about myself just a second when we talk about pivoting. And our third chapter is called Perpetuating Energy. That's right, paradise, pivoting, and perpetuating energy. My friend Allison has really gotten me addicted to alliteration, as you can tell. So it's going to be the story of pickleball in 3 chapters. So let's talk about paradise a little bit. I found myself describing pickleball recently in an article I wrote as utopian. And there's nothing more that indicates paradise to me than true utopia. Utopia is a really, really hard thing to achieve, if not impossible. But I think pickleball, believe it or not, gets us really, really close. And I'm going to tell you all a little bit of the history of pickleball, and then why I think it is akin to paradise. So take yourself back to 1965. You are on Bainbridge Island, about 50 minutes off of Seattle, and you are a dad, and you've got some little kids running around, and Bainbridge Island is a kind of utopia. If you've ever been out there, this is a beautiful place. Kind of rustic, but also sort of majestic. You've got these boats on the marina. You've got places to have coffee, take a walk, take a bike ride. It's absolutely beautiful. But if you are a preteen, it's probably just a little bit boring at times. And that's what our 3 dads in 1965 found themselves dealing with, was some bored kids. So they did what a lot of smart dads would do, which is they took what they had on hand and they created something for their kids. And whether they knew it or not, they were, on that day in 1965, creating what is now the fastest growing sport in the country. It wasn't called pickleball at first, and it didn't look like what it looks like today. If you saw us playing just a minute ago, in 1965, you would have seen us hitting a wooden paddle and a wiffle ball that came out of a wiffle ball set, the kind that you used to hit with a bat when you were a kid. Now it looks a little bit different than that, but it's basically the same sport that they created in 1965. Anybody know the true answer for why it is called pickleball? Raise your hand if you know. Anyone? Anyone at my table? Ike thinks she knows the answer. Let's hear it.
It has to do with rowing and being a boat.
It exactly has to do with rowing, and it's named after a concept called the pickle boat. That is where the name comes from. The pickle boat is sort of the worst boat in the race. It is made up of kind of the B team players. The boat might have some pieces hanging off of it, things like that. That is called the pickle boat. The pickle boat tends to bring up the rear in any race. Those are not the guys who are standing on the top middle of the podium at the end of the day. So pickleball is named after the pickle boat. Now, the family, one of the families who created pickleball, they did later have a dog who they named Pickles. Exactly. So they've got some different connections to pickleball, but it was actually named after the pickle boat. And so pickleball has been around since 1965 after getting created in this little utopia called Bainbridge Island. I have sort of 3 reasons why I think pickleball is akin to paradise. It also explains its popularity. And if you have paid any attention to a lot of media lately, but especially sports media, you will hear a lot about pickleball. In fact, it's probably so much that it might be driving you crazy just a little bit. But those of us who play, like Peggy here, knows exactly why we're talking so much about pickleball. And that is because of its utopian qualities. So one thing about pickleball that I will use Peggy, if you don't mind, to point out is that in pickleball, we are all welcome on the same court. So very often, you will see Peggy and I playing together. I'm 54. She's a little bit older than 54. Okay? I'm a man. She's a woman. It does not matter. Pickleball is completely open. In fact, it's built on a concept called open play. And open play is at the heart of essentially every pickleball match that I or anybody at this table or Peggy or anybody else has ever played. It's the idea that we are all welcome. Doesn't matter what age we are. Doesn't matter really what skill we are. Doesn't matter what gender we are. And that's why we can play a really good game together, even if Peggy's a little bit older than I and I'm a little bit younger. And that's one of the main reasons why pickleball has become so addictive for so many people. That's a big part of why I think it's kind of like paradise, because we lose all of our inhibitions on the pickleball court. I have a dirty little secret to tell everybody. We're not that different. The media would have you believe that we all hate each other. If we are red or blue, we absolutely have this friction between us. It completely goes away on the pickleball court. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what gender you are. Nobody cares what your political affiliation is. Your race, it does not matter. It evaporates once you stand on this court. That is a big part of its popularity and a big part of what makes it so utopian. Speaking of this court, some more audience engagement. Does anybody know why this court is 44 feet long and 20 feet wide? Anybody know? Not even my team? Come on. Okay, so our dads back in 1965 had something to work with. They had a badminton court. And you can Google this. The exact dimensions of a badminton court are 44 feet long by 20 feet wide. And that is why it is 44 by 20. Come on. Yes, thank you. I did some good research. So open play as the bedrock, the idea that we can play with anybody, that is a big part of pickleball's success. I think deep down, we hate the polarization that's going on in America. I don't think we as individuals really love it. I think the media perpetuates it. Pickleball gets rid of all of it every time we step on the court, and that is fantastic. I've got another reason, though, why pickleball is so popular, and it's because we, every single one of us, which is why you're here today, we are born learners. We are born to learn. We are born to soak in information. We are born to try new things. And pickleball, for most of us, Peggy excluded maybe, and this table, we are some of us just discovering pickleball today, even though it was created in 1965. So we have this opportunity to learn something from scratch and then get better at it. And that's what pickleball does. It gets under your skin. You want to get better. You can't stand the fact that you're popping the ball up in the air and then have it hit right back in your face. Good thing it's a wiffle ball. It doesn't hurt that bad. But we are born learners. We are born to soak in the kind of information that you have to soak in constantly on a pickleball court. I was just playing a point with Todd, who you're going to see in just a minute when he comes out here. He burned me on a ball that I had no idea you were going to hit, right? That little janky cut you did. Now I have to learn that Todd has that. Next time I play him, I have to keep in mind that he's got that shot in his arsenal. So we are born learners. That is a big part of pickleball's success. And the final thing is that pickleball is a really powerful third place. When I grew up, my dad had lots of third places. Typically, your home is considered the first place. Your work is considered your second place. And the third place back in the day were things like social clubs and bowling leagues and other places that you would go and talk to each other and, discover your similarities and differences. And given the kind of mallification of America, a lot of those third places have turned into more transactional retail type facilities, like Starbucks, where we are coming in to get a coffee and typically leaving as fast as we came. So we are not hanging around together and talking about what's going on in the world. Pickleball changes that too. It is a really, really good third place. It's a place where you can get to know people who are like you, but also people who you might never otherwise have met. If you ask any pickleball player to pull up their phone, go into their contacts, and type in the word pickle or pickleball, you are going to see hundreds of names. Because everywhere we go, we meet new pickleball players. That's what we do. We love the power of the third place of pickleball. That is a big reason that you are hearing so much about it. It's because it's a very powerful third place. Now, we just happen to have built a really good example of the third place over off of Tylersville Road, which I invite you all to visit. We're actually going to give you a free play card, so every single one of you can come for free and check it out. But again, this isn't about the Pickle Lodge. This is just about pickleball in general. But when you build a facility like the one that we have built, you're essentially creating a whole new third place for people to have in their lives, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to the second chapter of my pickleball story today. This one, as a reminder, is called pivoting. Now, I am 54 years old. I did not always wear orange shoes to work, but I do now. I did not always work in pickleball. In fact, I did 30 years doing something completely different. But I, like Peggy and lots of other people, I was bitten by the pickleball bug in 2017. I found myself consumed by it. I found myself looking around at Cincinnati and wondering, why is there not more organization behind the fantastic sport of pickleball? And I'm a masochist. So I did what a lot of masochists do, which is I volunteered. I created a community-based, nonprofit, all-volunteer pickleball club. And I made zero money doing it. And what I found in creating that club, which is called the Cincinnati Pickleball Club, is that I was spending more time on pickleball than I was on my real job. My boss knew that. That's why I got fired in 2022. But that's a whole other story. When I did, it was 6 days before Christmas. I mean, he could have waited till January 4th or something like that. But yes, I will admit, Joe and I were spending a lot of time on pickleball at that point. And so I was challenged to listen to the universe. And that's what I did. And the universe was telling me that pickleball was not a fad. The universe introduced me to Joe Frank, who's now my business partner. The universe encouraged me to make myself really easily findable. And then the universe told me that I could make a career change or a pivot into pickleball. And I did one of the hardest things I ever did, and I listened to the universe. So I got out of my 30-year career, which was something that I loved, especially before COVID. And I am now the chief brand officer for the Pickle Lodge, who gets to wear orange shoes to work every single day. In fact, we all dress like this. This is basically a mandate. If you see this table, you'll know what we all are going to look like when you walk in, because we look like this every single day. It's fantastic. My dry cleaner hates me. I haven't worn a dress shirt in 2 years, and I'm pretty proud of that. So I went through a major pivot in life. And I will tell you, you're never too old to make a major pivot. You're never too old to learn something new. Now, it helps to have a Sherpa, like I have at my table, who helps me with all things digital. Her name's Allison. I also listened to the universe when it introduced me to her. But what I have done is gone through this major life pivot and become now in the business of pickleball. I had clients for 30 years. I guided their businesses. I guided their brand strategies. And now I just guide my own. That's the pivot that I went through. I got news for you. It was really scary. It was also really stressful. In fact, it's still stressful. There are times when I know that I walk in and my team can kind of see it on my face, that that's one of those days. But if you've ever been through that pivot, you'll know what I'm talking about, especially when you take a 60,000 square foot dump, which is what it was. This building was a total dump, and try to turn it into something really, really beautiful. And that's what we did in my personal pivot, and Joe's pivot as well, although he was already in business for himself, so that doesn't count quite as much. Okay, let's talk about our third chapter. This is a biggie, and I'm a big believer in the power of true insight. True insight. That is a human truth, need, or aspiration that explains motivations. Yes, I wrote that definition, which is why I know it so well. But about 20 years ago in my brand strategy career, I felt like people were overusing the term insight. They were using it to describe something that I thought was just a regular observation. So I'm like, I'm going to write a better definition. I am going to study the true insights that I can find, and I have found one in pickleball. And that's what gets us to perpetuating energy. And here's the insight. And you've heard it before, but I'm just going to add another voice to it. And it is that the energy that you put out into the world reverberates back to you. And it comes back to you in whatever way that you put it out into the world. So I chose to put a ton of energy into the Cincinnati Pickleball Club, for which I got paid zilch. But I put a lot of positive energy into the world. And I think that that's why I have the team that I have today, who are the best in the business. I think that's why we have 1,450 members at the Pickle Lodge. I think that's why we have the best pizza in the city at the Pickle Lodge. Two Cities Pizza, in case you didn't know. That is why we are partnered with the best brewery in America, which is called Third Eye. It's because we have sent energy out into the world that has reverberated back to us, and it has helped us create something truly great in the midst of wondering if pickleball is a fad. In the midst of going through a major life and career pivot, what we have found collectively is that all this energy that we put into the sport, that we put into customer service, that we put into finding the right partners, it's all coming back to us in not just financial ways, although that's a big one, but it's also in their feedback. It's the look on their faces when our members and guests come to the lodge and play pickleball in a setting where you don't have to deal with wind. It's always 72 degrees. You don't need sunscreen. And there's always music playing. That's the kind of place we have built. So we put a lot of positive energy in the world, and it has come back to us. Okay? That's the third chapter of my pickleball story. So I talked a lot earlier about pickleball as paradise. I just want to close in talking just a little bit about pickleball itself. So we are going to get some play going on out here. We're going to teach you the very basic rules. I hope that we will have some participation from somebody in the audience who might have a paddle with her or two. But the reason I talked about it as a paradise is because we all welcome each other through open play. It's because of the positive energy that you can give and receive on the pickleball court. It's because it rewards those who want to learn something new, and it absolutely rewards those looking to find a new third place. And I think that is, at least for me, one of those guys who likes to talk about nothing but pickleball. That's my definition of paradise. That and, speaking to you all, of course. Okay, so I'm going to bring my team out. We're going to play some pickleball. We're going to teach you some really important rules that you will discover when you get onto a pickleball court. Ike, Richard, TJ, you guys want to come out here? Do I happen to have a volunteer who has a paddle with her? You don't have to. Maybe. Do you want to? Awesome. Perfect. We have a volunteer. I figured there'd be somebody who not only wore the right shoes, but also brought a paddle with them. And I just happened to see that paddle sticking out. Okay, while she's getting ready, I want to introduce you to the 3 best pickleball instructors in the entire Midwest. Okay? First is Richard Canellis. Richard has been playing tennis, teaching tennis, and now playing pickleball and teaching pickleball for a very long time. I'd like to introduce you to Ike Terrain. Talk about perpetuating energy. Ike is the biggest energy giver I've ever met in pickleball, and all that positive energy comes back to her. And then I want to introduce you to Todd Jungling. Todd is, I think, the most tenured pickleball instructor in and around Cincinnati. So if you want to learn the sport from true pros, this is as close as I'm going to get for an ad for the Pickle Lodge. You want to come work with one of these 3 or one of our other pros on staff because they are absolutely fantastic. All right, are you ready for us? Come on out. Yeah. I'm Mitch.
I'm a racquetball
What's your name?
player. Sharon.
Sharon.
Yes.
Welcome, Sharon. All right, so Sharon, we will not push you to your limit, I promise. And I or somebody else will be ready to step in if you don't want to play. But we're going to show you some really basic stuff. I can teach anybody in this audience to play pickleball in 5 minutes or less. And that's what we're about to do, okay? So I'm going to talk really quickly about the serve, which Ike is going to show us what this looks like. But unlike tennis, I have to hit the serve underhanded. Okay, that's the first thing. I have to hit it below my belly button, my navel. That's the second thing. Okay, and I cannot spin the ball in my hand as it's coming out. So I basically have to do this. Let her rip.
Here we go. Except it goes over there.
That's all right.
The wind.
The wind is messing with Ike's amazing serve, which she does have an amazing serve. Richard, let's see one.
Here we go.
So it has to go over the non-whistle.
There we go. That is a great serve. All right, so that's the first thing I want to talk about is the serve. It has to be underhand. It has to be hit below your belly button. Todd's going to burn. I knew it. I knew he was going to do that.
You have to return it on your side and then any shot.
Yep. So let's talk about the second rule. It is called the 2-bounce rule. And this one is a doozy. This is the hardest rule for people who are coming into pickleball, especially from tennis, to remember, okay? And here's how it works. Richard is going to serve the ball to Todd. He's going to serve it cross court, just like you would in tennis. When Todd returns the ball to Richard and Ike, they have to let it bounce before they can play it, okay? That keeps them from coming up to the net and ending the point in about 4 seconds. All right, so let's see a good serve.
You can also call it like serve stay.
Yeah.
To remember.
Yep. That was your second bounce, and now we're in the point.
Nice one.
That's all right. We're going to help Sharon with that one with a really easy fix. And this is the third thing I want to talk about in pickleball. You'll notice there is a 14-foot wide area, 7 feet on either side of the net. What is this called? Anyone? The kitchen. Technically, it's called the non-volley zone. We have affectionately called it the kitchen. Why we call it the kitchen, that one I do not know, but we just do, okay? It is called the non-volley zone because I cannot stand in this area and hit the ball out of the air, okay? I also cannot stand out of this area, volley the ball, and then get carried in, okay? So it is the non-volley zone, or the kitchen. Todd pointed this out earlier. When I serve, I have to clear the kitchen. That kitchen line is the only one that's out on a serve, so I have to clear the kitchen. All right, so we're going to see right now a serve, a return, a 2 bounce, and then we're going to get Sharon up to the kitchen and keep this point going. All right, let's see it.
You're going to serve to me? Yeah. So I want you right
Yeah, Sharon, you're going to start right on the kitchen. Toes on the green line almost. Yep, right there. Perfect.
Go, Sharon.
just behind me.
Nice serve. Nice one. There it comes. Woo!
Okay.
I can never do it against him.
Did anyone doubt Sharon when she walked out here? I mean, I saw her from a mile away. I knew she was going to be that good. Okay? All right, Sharon, how about you serve this time?
Go, Sharon.
You up for it?
What did I do?
Okay, Sharon, you're going to stand behind this green line. TJ will walk you through it.
Yep, stand behind. Turn sideways, kind of like this. Drop it in front of you. And then you're going to want to hit it over the net and into that big box. Diagonal. Go for the big pool.
Yep, here we go. That's all right. We're giving Sharon first ball in, of course. So let's take another one. That's all right. I do the same thing every time I'm at the lodge. All right, Sharon, here we go.
Nice one.
I got it. Come over here.
And we're in. All right, Sharon, come into the kitchen. Yep. That's all right. That's why we have 3 great instructors on hand to teach people how to hit that exact shot right there. Okay, so in 5 minutes or less, we have learned about the serve. We've learned about the kitchen. We've learned that you can't volley from in there, and we've learned that you can't volley and then get carried in. We've learned about the 2 bounce rule. We've learned that you have to clear the kitchen on the serve, and we are playing pickleball. That's how long that took, okay? Let's see. Joe Frank, come on out here. I'm going to swap you 2, okay? Now we're playing a full speed point. Can we borrow that paddle? Perfect. Or Joe, you want mine? Here, play with that one. Okay, so we're going to let these 4 pick up the pace just a little bit, okay? So you're going to see a point where Joe's going to serve to Ike. Ike's going to return it. They have to let it bounce. Yep. And now we're in. All right.
Nice one, nice one.
So Joe just hit a really, really nice drop shot. That thing dropped right in the kitchen, which made it really hard for Ike to deal with. All right, so Joe gets to keep serving. Good deep serve. All right, and TJ hit it into the net, which is something that I'm very, very familiar with, okay? So we won't bother with the scoring because that's a little bit tricky, but it is now Ike's serve. She's going to hit a really deep one, I can tell. See? I knew it. Oh, let's go. All day long. All right, Richard serve. He's also going to go cross court. He's coming to Joe. Joe's a lefty. Yep. All right, good try. Okay. While they're playing, I'm going to ask if you've noticed something which is very distinct about pickleball. What do you notice that's the most distinct thing about pickleball as you watch these points? Peggy, what do you got? It's the sound. That paddle is hollow. It drives some people crazy. To Joe and I, it is the sound of money. That's what it is the sound of. So we think it's absolutely beautiful. But if you read any articles about pickleball and its development, you will find very, very quickly some people who do not like that sound. So they don't want pickleball courts too close to their house, which to me is another argument for putting them in a 60,000 square foot indoor building. But that's just a thought. All right, here we go. TJ, serve. Nice. Testing Richard's ankle. All right, Todd gets to serve again because he won that point. Yep, he's got to be behind that line. That was wide. Yep.
Are these measured correctly?
Yeah. Ask Keith. Ask Keith Colton. Yeah. I will say these surfaces are not quite as smooth as the surface at the Pickle Lodge. So when I was playing earlier, you're going to see a lot of bounces where this ball is not going where you think it's going to go. All right. If this looks a little bit like standing on top of a ping pong table, that's exactly what it feels like. Okay, so when we describe pickleball, we often say to people, especially newbies, it's kind of like standing on a ping pong table. That's sort of what it feels like, even though it's 44 feet long. The paddle's only 8 ounces. Let's go, Iker. Richard doesn't miss that one very often. Okay, any other volunteers? Anybody else who wants to come out and play a couple points with these guys? Raise your hand. All right, let's go. Peggy, what shoes do you have on? Can't play?
Sandals.
All right, yeah, that's probably a bad idea. We'd probably step on your toes.
Phil.
Phil.
Ask you to talk about shoes.
Yeah, I will.
Because the first time I played, within the first 5 minutes,
Yep.
I tripped and
Yep.
fell.
Yep.
Straight.
Yeah, great point.
And then I bought pickleball shoes.
Yep.
All over the world.
I know. So Phil just brought up a really good point, which is leads me to a bigger point. Pickleball is a very easy sport to get into. That paddle that Sharon had is maybe $40 on Amazon. Probably includes a couple balls. And you can go out to any municipal park. You do not have to come play at a place like the Pickle Lodge. Or you can do what I did during the pandemic and lay out this exact thing in your cul-de-sac. That's how I really, really got addicted to pickleball, okay? But one thing you want to be careful about is the shoes. So if you are wearing running shoes, you are probably going to get yourself into trouble, okay? There's a lot of lateral movement in pickleball, and you want your foot to be very stable. And a running shoe is meant for running straight lines, not side to side. So that's probably why Phil hurt himself, okay? All right, let's go, Iker. We'll give 6 inches on the outside of the lines from this point forward. Yeah, Phil's serving. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Nice one. Oh, nice.
I was ready for you.
There we go. Not going.
Phil, now you serve from the left side. Yep, there you go.
Every time you win a point on your serve, you switch.
Bring it, Phil.
I love her.
We do too, Phil.
Nice one.
Phil, let's go. Phil, how much pickleball have you played?
If I could play 24 hours a day, I would. My body would let me.
Yep.
Usually three days a week.
Awesome. We can tell.
All right, serve.
All right, couple more. Yeah, big serve.
Big serve.
Richard, if you can find an opportunity to rip a drive at TJ, let's do that too. Yeah.
You hope it goes out.
Todd just did one of the hardest things to do, which is not hit the pickleball. Now, unfortunately for him, it did land in, but that is a ball as a pickleball player that you really want to be looking out. It's one that might go over your head and out of bounds.
You're very kind.
Here we go.
Yeah, stay back.
Oh, yeah, Phil, we want you back with Todd.
There we go. That's right.
Never serve alone.
That's okay. Nice one, nice one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just out.
He's showing off for the camera.
That's right.
There you go, you serve.
All right, Phil.
One more try.
Yeah, one more. Then we'll keep score for 3 points, and then we'll wrap up.
Nice serve. Nice serve.
Great serve. Let's play it.
Boom. Ah. Ah.
Oh!
Ah.
Let's go.
All right, so 1-0. Phil served.
All right, let's
Don't care.
let's keep score for Phil as if it's 1-0-2. Okay, so we'll take them through scoring just a little bit. Phil, you're going to switch sides. Didn't you just serve on that side? Yeah, coming to you, Richard. All right, it's 1-0-2. We are playing to 11. We won't play this whole thing out, but we'll keep some score for you.
Nice serve. Nice return.
Let's go. All right, it is still now it's 0-1-2. You're all serve.
Okay.
So they are reading their score, the other team's score, and then which server they are. So 0-1-1. Sorry, I misspoke. There we go.
Got it.
Good deep return.
Do you still like her? I do. She's not just hitting her.
Did somebody forget to tell Ike that you're supposed to take it easy on the guest? Ike's very competitive, as you can tell. 1-1-1. Oh, yeah, Phil, you're going to be up here at the kitchen. We want you short. We want you short. There you go. Yep. That's where you're going to win the game. It's all right. Phil fell prey to the patience trap. 2-1-1.
Oh, beauty.
Nice and deep. That was nice and deep.
All right, 2-1-2. It's TJ's serve.
Nice downhill slope. I like it.
Or sorry, 1-2. Phil, you're up.
The winds are coming. Nice serve. Good one. Good spin.
Oh, that thing just took off.
Did you put a spin on
Yes,
that?
I
You
did.
sure did.
That thing just took off.
All right, you guys keep playing. Anybody have any questions about pickleball, about our 3 chapters? Anybody have any questions?
Nice one. Oh.
Yep, don't understand the scoring. Neither do I. That's the good news. You are not alone. The scoring is perhaps the most confusing. You guys keep playing. Perhaps the most confusing part about pickleball, which is kind of why I didn't go too far into it. But I'll tell you how it works in general. I'm going to be serving, okay? So I'm going to have the ball in my hand, paddle in my hand. I'm going to tell you my score first. Then I'm going to relay the team score that I'm playing against, okay? So let's just pretend it's 0-1. Those are the first 2 numbers you're going to hear. Then you're going to hear a third number, and that number is going to either be 1 or 2, depending on where we are in the game. If we are serving, we just got the ball on our side, it is going to be 0-1-1. I'm the first server. If we lose that point, now the score is 0-1-2. Okay? Who's confused? Raise your hand if you're confused. Ian is confused. See, I told you. Here's the good news about the scoring in pickleball. It gets easy really fast. Really, really fast. Any other questions? Who's got a question? Yep. Great question. Are the shoes on the bottom smooth? Not really. They are very grippy, in fact. They're kind of grippy just like a regular tennis shoe. In fact, if you have a good old pair of tennis shoes that you used to wear on any hard court surface, you've got the perfect shoe for pickleball as well. They'll tell you that they're making pickleball-specific shoes. But they look a lot like tennis shoes to
I
me.
heard a kid this weekend who went like this. Body bag.
Yeah. We do. We do sell shoes at my place. They're not all orange, but they're pretty colorful. They look a lot like what I'm wearing right now. Huh? How long till it's an Olympic sport? I love that question. It is definitely not going to be the next Olympic cycle, but we hope the one after that. That's a tiny little bit optimistic because we got to get 70 countries playing pickleball, and then we have to get the host country interested in adding it to the lineup. If anybody watched breakdancing in this year's Olympics,
Yes, go Australia.
nothing against breakdancing, but I'm pretty sure we should have pickleball in the Olympics.
Australia will be good at that too.
Yes.
Just saying.
Who else has a question?
You got some more questions from the crowd? Questions, thoughts, comments?
I have a thought.
Yes.
Here, I got a microphone.
Allison has a thought.
As a volleyball player, I would like you to remind people they didn't have to play tennis.
Say that again?
I didn't play tennis.
Yeah.
I didn't
Great
like
point.
it. But I love this sport, so 'cause to me it's little volleyball.
Yes. So speaking of Utopia, this is not a sport that requires a ton of racket skill. So even if you didn't play tennis, racquetball, squash, ping pong, etc., you can still pick up pickleball very, very easily. We teach people to do it all day, every day. Great point. Allison came from a volleyball background, and you should see her game. It's amazing.
Questions
She does
down
not.
the
She
side?
hits it perfect.
Bueller, anyone? Waving, not drowning? You're very quiet today. You've been good. Anybody else want to come up and play?
Phil's tired. I'll play. I'll play for
right.
Phil. All right, I want to.
Not have pickleball attire on.
Let's play. We'll play one point.
Love it.
All right, TJ, you ready? This is for all the marbles. Ike's not ready. She's got to breathe deeply first. This is my first time wearing the Britney Spears mic. I like it.
Oops, you did it again.
Oh, good shot. Are we serving? All right, here we go. I go.
Get your tan today.
Nice. All right, last point. See, you get us playing, and then now we're not going to want to stop. Ready, Iker? Yep. All right, you all, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for letting me be the first speaker in the series. Thank you to my team for coming out, and thank you for the awesome barbecue. That was amazing. Ian, you're the best.
And thank you to Mitch Dunn, the Pickle Lodge. Put your hands together for Mitch and the team. Fantastic work. To Mr. Nuxel over here stepping up, and to Sharon Fox doing the thing. I might add too that one of those people was the Cincinnati Masters racquetball champion just a few years ago. So I'm bringing some heat to the pickleball game today. But Mitch is there for conversations and questions. We'd love for you to go out to the Pickle Lodge. There's pickleball courts here in Hamilton. We have a few here with the Parks Conservancy. They have those set up for you just down the road here. I know the YMCA is involved, so there's great opportunities to get involved, but there's great fun people out there in Westchester. Thanks again. A huge round of applause for Mitch Dunn and the Pickleball Lodge. But we are just getting started here at the Fitness Center. Next week we start Fit and Family Fridays, and if you have some smaller people in your family, we'd love to see them here for Winnie the Pooh. We are doing kids opening night. We'll be dressing up in tuxedos and ball gowns and Winnie the Pooh costumes and doing photos. We'll be having Metro Parks here, Metro Parks of Butler County will be here, and the Lane Library will be here as well. And then next month, we're going to talk a little bit about spas. And if you haven't got your tickets for next month's Celebrating Self, please do that soon. And then we kick off in October with our music series, Back to Mac. We'll be doing a little bit of Fleetwood Mac here at the Fitness Center to get the groove on for the fall time. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for all of our sponsors. And another huge round of applause for our friends at Two Women in a Kitchen for an incredible lunch. And to the Fitness Center team for this great setup out here. And once more, the Pickle Lodge, thank you so much, Mitch and team. You guys are awesome. Have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy this great weather as we head into fall, and we'll see you here at the Fitness Center again very soon. Thank you. There's open play.
Kettering Health Hamilton is proud to be the broadcast sponsor of the Celebrating Self series. Kettering Health Hamilton, be your best.